So actually, how's your mom doing? Because
She's
like,
good.
yeah, because back in high school, she was like one of the coolest moms. So
Thank you.
her name is Rosemary, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Rosemary one time. yeah, you're cool. Check out the podcast, like and subscribe. So actually, one of the things I wanted to ask Julie is, how were you introduced to Jude?
Oh God.
Oh, the origin story.
Yeah. I'm curious.
That's a long story.
We got time. Let's go. That's why we here. What's up?
I feel like there's about to be two different stories.
You can give us a Spark Notes version.
Okay,
if you
Spark
want.
Notes version.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go home for winter break because I'm from Cali originally, so I came out here for school. So I was supposed to go home for winter break, and my friend at the time, like she was like my best friend at the time, she was tired of hearing me talking to all these loser dudes.
Fuck boys.
Yeah, all the fuck boys.
Oh,
So
tell
she
her.
was like,
Word.
so she was like, oh, I got a guy for you. I think you might like. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then, so she was in a sorority and he was in a fraternity. So like they knew each other from that. Like, cause she went to my school. Obviously, he went to a different school.
Yeah.
So,
what school did you go to, Jude?
Rutgers, Newark.
Oh, Rutgers. Shout out Rutgers.
And then I went to
Forget
Seton
about
Hall.
Rutgers,
So
because these student loans is crazy.
Yo, forget about Rutgers, yo. This loan system is crazy.
no, Seton Hall's more expensive than that.
It is, but student loans is student loans no matter what. So.
Word,
Correct.
word.
So, so anyway, she brought me to Rutgers to meet him, but he didn't even know that I was going to Rutgers to meet him. Like he just thought that I was just there.
Yeah.
Because she didn't like set that up at all. She didn't. She know nothing.
Yeah.
So he was out with some other friends, and then we went to his dorm, and like he wasn't even there. So we started drinking with his other frat brothers. So then he comes back, and we're already drunk, and like he's like, "Oh, hi." Like who
I
are
don't even
you?
think I said hi.
Like you just walked in
Because being in
who
the
this?
But the thing about it is like being in the Greek organization, especially when you're on campus.
Yeah.
It's like
That
it's just
Both are
random.
around.
Yeah.
And then everybody's having a good time. Everybody's drunk and doing whatever.
Yeah.
So I come in, I'm just like drunk people. Like
Yeah.
it's normal at that time. It's normal at that point. It's like drunk people. So it's like
So then my friend got like plastered, like because this was the Four Loko era.
Wait.
we
So-
left for local in our room.
Damn.
This
Wait,
is like
wait,
the
so
Four
Four
Loko
Loko.
era.
Yeah, that was-
For
So
context, I am not as hip as you guys. What does plastered mean? Is she like dead?
Nah, just
like smacked.
Oh,
like
okay.
smacked.
Yeah. Okay.
Smacked, Smiths. You
Yeah.
Schmiggly smacked.
Diaz Zamiro.
Huh?
Diaz Zamiro.
Schmuggy
These is
bottom.
Miro,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
people.
gang.
Word.
So Four Locos did us in, obviously, but my friend
Yikes.
is more of like a smoker than a drinker,
Yeah.
so she does not handle her liquor well.
Mm.
So she was like, like
Yeah,
really bad.
she was like,
so of course she was like, oh, like I want Jude to take care of me, and like goes into his dorm room, which leaves me in a whole like living room and dorm section full of men that I don't know.
Yikes.
So then, like we obviously couldn't drive back to her house that night. So I stayed in his frat brother's room while he took care of her.
Yeah.
So then, of course, his frat brother comes up with this whole like convoluted story that I had hooked up with him, which never happened. I literally laid there like a sardine because I didn't want to touch him because I don't know you. Like, do I want to sleep on the floor or do I want to sleep on a bed? Obviously, I'm going to sleep on a bed, but I don't know you, so I'm not going to be all like cuddled up next to you.
Yeah, word.
So then he thought that I was like chilling with his roommate, basically, because when I left, like he didn't really get to know me. He just knew that I was like whatever, cool people's.
Yeah.
So then I found him on Facebook. I stalked him mildly, and then I was like, oh hey, like it was nice to meet you. Like keep in touch. And then when we started like texting each other, he was like, oh, like I thought you were into my friend, and I was like.
Yeah, I'm not trying to step somebody's boundaries and stuff. I'm like, wait.
I was like,
you
no.
real.
I was like, no, I was not. And he's like, oh, because he said that you guys hooked up. I was like, oh, hell no, we did not.
Yeah.
And so then we talked the whole time I was home for winter break.
Yeah.
So then when we came back from winter break, then we like linked up, and I actually brought him to like my best friend's like birthday party. Like he didn't know like anybody there.
Oh yeah.
But we like
Except for one girl, but that was because we were like sand. So people that crossed it to the org at the same time or season.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then from there we just started seeing each other all the time.
Wow.
I mean, we're mutual she was a mutual friend of ours, and I guess because she already knew me, she was like, all right, I guess I'll have Jude, like, whatever, take care of me, whatever. So.
Yeah, so is... Yeah. Were you going to say something?
Yeah.
Is that story?
Oh, is it so spicy?
No.
Let's go. No, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
No, because she was so messed up.
Yeah.
Like, she threw up on the side of my bed.
Hey.
So while I'm over there like sardine trying not to touch this man that I don't know, he's over there trying to do laundry for throw up from someone.
She throws up on the side of my bed. My carpet has throw up in it. So I'm like, yo, like, seriously? She goes to the bathroom. I run downstairs to the laundry, try to wash everything up. But I think by that time you was up already. So you was already helping her out. But then the next day, I guess she felt better. And we were just playing music. Like, it was just random. Like, after that, before you left, you're like, oh, let's just add everybody's Facebook and stuff like that. So, but it was...
I instigated.
Yeah.
She bagged.
Word. All right, so is that what ended up bringing you over to Cali? Or is that a different story?
That was the start of it.
Oh, so tell me about that. Because for context, like, you know, a lot of us grew up here in Jersey City, and since then, Jude now lives in California with his soon-to-be wife. So, yeah, what brought you over there? Aside from being with your wife?
That was it.
That's it.
I told him when we started dating. Right? I told him when we started dating, I was like, listen, I don't think I'm going to live in Jersey forever. So if you're going to date me, you're going to move to Cali.
Did you ever have any ties to Jersey or no?
I did when I was here. Like, I have a lot of good friends that are here. Like, they're like closest family and stuff. But like,
you had to give them the ultimatum.
Yeah, I was like, listen.
Oh, see, so now you admit it, boy. I told you. Listen, so because when she first told me,
you did.
So when she first told me, I was like, damn, she's from California, so all of her family's in California. Eventually she's gonna go back to California.
But I told you that from the jump.
So I was like, no, I know that, but regardless, you're gonna always want to go back because that's where your family is.
Yeah, facts.
So I was like, all right, so eventually she's gonna want to go back.
Yeah.
And so we lived here for like 4 years? We lived here for 4 years, like different places. You lived in Hillside,
South Orange,
and Jersey City. Before she was just like, you know, I think it's like time for me to move back, and I was like,
you're like, oh man.
But he loves it now. He hasn't come back since we moved, and we moved a year and a half ago.
But that's because of situations. But
not
crazy, not messy, not crazy situations. But I'll get to that afterwards.
Yeah.
But
sometimes you can't take the city out the kid.
But at the time, remember I was telling you about the family member that lived in upstate New York.
Okay, yeah.
David, he moved down to Florida, and so it was a talk in the family of just leaving Jersey. So I was like, well, I'm gonna leave too. Everybody's leaving, so I'm just gonna leave too.
Yeah.
So when that happened, oh my God.
Oh, let's get it.
No, because no, because anybody that I guess knew me during high school knew that I had, you know, like I'll have problems with dad and stuff like that. But when we left, that was the first time like I seen him cry for something. And then that's what like so when he cried, I cried the whole plane, like almost the whole plane ride.
Yeah.
Oh damn. Okay.
And that's when freaking what's that show called?
Which one?
Was it ABC?
This Is Us.
This Is Us came out.
This Is Us was already out before we left, though.
Oh, well, it was a whole family thing show, right? So whenever we watched it, certain things would like make me think of it, and I wind up crying again.
Yeah.
So that was rough.
Should I put that on my never-ending list too? This Is Us. Should I watch
This
that?
Is Us is good.
I haven't watched
it.
You're gonna hate me because I'm trash at watching stuff.
It depends. Like,
are you like a drama person?
Yeah,
like, it's not like a drama.
I mean,
it's like dramatic, but it's
real
like.
Talk. When's the last time you cried?
Never.
Yeah.
Probably bad if I have to think that hard, right?
Well, it depends on what happened in your life. You don't have
okay,
to,
so basically,
cry,
it's like a character
like,
story. So if you're into like character development, where you figure out why people are the way they are, then that's
people
really
died
what
in the first season. It's still coming back. It's like flashbacks.
Where they came back to life.
Someone
no,
upset as hell.
Actually, you're not. No. But so that comes down. That always brought tears back, and then I worked Best Buy here, so when I got the okay to transfer to another store, like that made me feel better because at least I'll have a job there. So that kind of got my mind off of things. And before we left, I applied for TSA before I came over here. So I would be in Best Buy hoping for TSA to call me back.
Gotcha.
And, you know, since I got TSA back, and I mean, just meeting people there is just, so you keep busy, you do stuff, and then eventually you just stop like worrying about it, or it doesn't become much of a worry anymore. And then what we were talking about like yesterday was that not to make it sound bad, but when you're in other places, like when we're in California, people always ask us about Jersey because it's not like they meet people that travel across the country
is it
all
like
the time.
where?
But you know, like I'm going to say that when they ask me about it, I don't miss Jersey. I miss the people in it.
And that's how it usually is.
Yeah. Or maybe sometimes, depending on who you meet in California, you miss the way Jersey people act versus them.
I heard that. I heard there's a difference between how people act.
It's a difference.
What would you say is more laid back?
It's more laid back, but people are a lot more friendlier.
Yeah, they're
I can see that.
there. Yeah.
A lot more friendly.
I can see that.
So like you could go there and then you'll see them and you'll be like, why are you so nice?
Oh,
Like,
and
when
I told him
first met
that he used to get so
like,
annoyed
yo,
with me.
like,
He'd
why
be
are you
like,
so-
why are you nice to people? Like, why are you being nice to that person? And I'd be like, that's just the way I am. And then he was like, I don't get it. Then when we moved to California, and then he started working with people, he was like, damn, you guys really are just like that.
And I just look at people suspiciously like,
I was like, can you just stop that? They're just being nice. And he's like, but why are they being nice?
nice.
What you pulling in my car? Like, like I totally see that because around here you basically walk around with your guard up, and so even when I'm walking on the street, I'm conscious of the person that's in front of me.
Yeah,
because I see
behind you.
Yeah,
next to you. Yeah, across the street, down the block. Like
California people don't care,
and I see them look back as if I'm a threat, and I'm like,
I'm looking out for you.
I don't hurt a fly.
Here
like,
you keep a guard up that could be unhealthy.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Definitely.
Like this is like you're tense and you're on edge.
Yeah.
But in California, people are nice to you, and on top of that, you're not walking in California. You need a car.
That's a fact. Yeah.
So I mean,
but around here, like, there's been literally situations where I'm walking on the same side of the street as somebody, and they'll cross, and I'm like,
oh, you cross too?
Yeah, I'm like,
I cross
look suspect to you?
Yeah. Like if you look crazier than me,
yeah.
Crossing that street.
I look there's a stoop on the side. I'm like, that's my house. I'm pulling up right now. Oh snap, my mom's calling, or like text like that, and I was just like, wait till him pass by, and then it was like, all right, that wasn't a threat. I'm good.
Yeah.
And then one of the other things that I do is just walk around with headphones because I'm not trying to get asked for nothing. I'm not trying to.
I sometimes, depending on where I'm walking, I tuck the headphones in. Don't come up to me with my headphones because I like my headphones. And I like,
word.
You know what I mean? So depending on what it is, sometimes depending on where you are, sometimes you might have to act like you look like the toughest person.
Actually, that's a good point.
It's just how it is. But in California, it's just like
sometimes nobody's stressing about you in California.
No, nobody's stressing. No, if anything, people want to be like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?"
I feel like you're still getting over it. The fact that they're still nice.
Yes.
I mean,
I think it would throw me off too because around here is kind of like the idea is everyone's kind of like down, like looking at the ground, and if you make eye contact with somebody, like, "Hey, what are you looking at?" Yeah, like.
Whereas in California, they talk to you. Like, we're in line at the grocery store, the people next to us are just talking to us for no reason.
Man, did I grow up in the wrong place?
No, it's just it's a mentality.
It's just different, right? It's just different.
But the thing about it is that we talked about it before, and I was like, look, if we have kids, I mean, when we have kids or whatever, I would have liked for them to grow up here because
all you want to give
you want them to be tough,
not to be tough, but you grow up faster here.
Yeah, but I don't want that for my kid.
That's interesting.
It's like it's a whole.
Not grow up faster, but you think differently. You know what I mean?
I think if you had a blend of growing up here and growing up in California, then you'd have the perfect person.
You would.
Because I think if you like you said, like it's kind of like a hindrance. Like if you have that guard up so much. Like you don't let
Yes.
people in.
Yes.
Whereas in
100%,
California, you let people in
She really
too
talks to me
much.
about that a lot.
You let
too.
people in too much, so then it's like one way or the other.
Yeah.
If you have something in between, then
Yeah.
you kind of have a good blend. But being that he's that way,
Yeah.
like because that's how he was raised,
Yeah.
and being that I'm that way because that's how I was raised, our kids
Yeah.
are gonna see that in
Yeah.
us. So they're
Yeah.
gonna have a good blend because they'll learn from us
Yeah.
and be like, oh well, you know, dad does this and blah blah blah. And so
Yeah,
then
that'd
they'll
be so cool to actually explain to them like, hey, that's from Jersey. Like, what's up? Like, what's up,
then they could go visit and then they can
Yeah, for
understand
sure,
it.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
like at least
Take
they'll
'em to your old
they'll
house
see
and
it in
shit.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They won't have to. They don't have to live in it to know it. They'll know it because of him.
Sometimes, like when we were driving around,
Yeah.
there's some like,
Nothing.
Sometimes, like it was one time when we drove to this breakfast place that we like, and it's a supermarket right before you get there.
Yeah.
But some of these mothers with their kids was just letting their kids run out into the street.
Wait, that's
It
in
was
Cali or
in
here?
California.
Cali.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they wasn't looking around. So I feel like people in California, or some of them at least where we live,
Yeah.
they feel like nothing could go wrong in the world. Like
Yeah,
that's
I get
so
it. Disneyland.
nothing
different
bad
from
can
here.
nothing
That's
bad
so-
can
Well,
happen.
it's just like again, it's like a balance because it could be for like where we're from,
Keep the mic
depending
close.
on like geologically speaking,
Yeah.
or like just the like low income families, mid income, whatever. But like we've recently like I've talked to him about like certain friends that when you grow up you have responsibilities, and then sometimes you have different friends that don't align with that responsibility.
Right.
So sometimes, like, I tell him like this phrase, like it's when you see and hear like friends and the circles, it's like it sounds like it's kids raising kids, and
Yeah.
that's where like that's the mistake I don't want, and that's why like I get the balance between going back and forth, but I also get your point, and I get your point. Because
Yeah.
So would
it's
you
just a
argue
balance.
that those certain people didn't grow up enough?
Yes.
Yeah, but there's people out here though. There's people out
Of
here that
course.
grew up with that chip on their shoulder and use it as a
Of course.
excuse as to why they're not mature enough.
And
Of course.
the part
So
the part that I didn't mean to, but
Oh,
the
no,
part
that's fine.
there that I don't want to make is like if you've seen like the way your parents and the way you were raised, and you know those mistakes,
Yeah.
and if you make
You're expected to learn from them.
If you make a mistake along the lines of that, you already got the blueprint. And if you
Right.
made the mistake, it's like, oh, then you messed up because you already knew what was happening, and
Yeah.
you fell into it.
And then the cycle continues.
Yeah, exactly. So it's your job. Like they say, children are the future, and it's right because you have to break it the mold
Down to
and
them.
then yeah,
Whatever
you have
the
to find a
cycle
new
is,
path.
yeah.